saw that. Well, welcome back. We're going to talk to some people today about something that I always find interesting, and I think a lot of people do as well. For those of you that are sports fans out there, you understand that your team is put together with a lot of constraints in place. Like, you can't just go out and sign all the great players because you live in a big market like New York or Los Angeles. Every team, especially in the NFL, is really constrained by a salary cap, a very strict salary cap. But there's something called an NFL a salary cap rollover, and Lance is going to explain it to us here today. And we're going to talk about the teams that have the biggest salary cap rollovers heading into next year, where the salary cap is predicted to go down about 15 or 20%. So a lot of teams are going to be in a really bad situation, Lance. They're going to have to make some choices. They're going to have to figure out who they want to keep and who they don't want to keep. So let's talk about that rollover now. Tell the people out there in the internet world exactly what the rollover is.
Okay, so in a nutshell, a rollover means that if you did not use a portion of your salary cap, it will hold over or roll over to next season's salary cap. So that's an additional cap relief for those teams who haven't expanded or expended all of their salary cap in the previous year. So let's say the salary cap for the 2021 season is like 175 million and one team has a rollover of 25, then they get a salary cap of 200 million. That's an huge. Additional like 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, now nobody knew that COVID was going to cut the revenue of the NFL. So nobody could predict, 3-4 years ago. And that's how they work out the salary cap. They work it out years in advance. Nobody could predict this was going to happen. But some teams got lucky and had a lot of salary cap space. So what I'd like to know is, who are the teams with the biggest salary cap? And then let's talk about what we think they can do with it.
Okay, so the biggest team with the biggest rollover, and they are very lucky to be in this situation, is the Cleveland Browns. They have 30.3 million in rollover, and they already are a playoff team. So they have players in place at quarterback, at running back, at wide receivers also, and they also have a decent defense already. And with that kind of a roster, imagine any free agent wanting to go to the Browns and the Browns having that cap space to sign them. So things are looking up for the Cleveland Browns. They're not the same lovable losers anymore. So they are here to stay, and they are here to contend, especially with that big rollover.
Yeah, when you think about Cleveland, if I'm an impending free agent, I'm looking about where I want to go. Cleveland doesn't have the best weather, but it is a really nice city if you've ever been there. It's a really fun city, a lot of great restaurants, nice bars, fun places to hang out. They have the flats up there where you can go and party with a bunch of clubs and stuff like that. I think Cleveland's a destination point at this point. You got a young quarterback, you got a great offensive coordinator, you've got a defense with some superstars on it, you've got some great weapons, you've got a good running game. If I'm looking to go somewhere and I fit into Cleveland and they could pay me, I'm going. That's a conference that I think is ripe for the picking, because Kansas City is going to lose some players this year and they're not going to be as strong as time goes on. And you're going to look at inside that actual division. That actual division, Baltimore is hit and miss. They could be the best team in the NFL one week, and they could be a team that beats themselves the week after. Pittsburgh's getting older. Cleveland is on the upturn, $30 million. A lot of extra cap space. I think they're gonna make some big moves in the offseason. Who else has a big cap space?
Okay, so second on the list are the New York Jets, 26.6 million of cap rollover. Now, this is a team that needs a lot, unlike the Cleveland Browns. They do have some Sam Darnold at quarterback, but would you rather stick with him or rather go with the draft and pick somebody else? And if you pick somebody else, a better quarterback that is, are you going to go in free agency to get better wide receivers or better weapons to surround that young quarterback? But aside from the offense, they also need a lot on the defensive side of the ball, rather. So they will be able to maximize this rollover, this cap space, to sign a lot of players that can plug some holes in their roster.
Yeah, listen, you think about the Jets, and 25 million is a lot of money that they didn't spend in the cap this year. But as bad as they were, I would have thought they had $70 million in cap space. I mean, that's an awful team. There are no superstars in that team, and they have a quarterback under a rookie contract. So I didn't realize that they only had 25 million to roll over. So that may give them $70, $80 million in cap space in the offseason. They got a ton of holes to fix. I don't know about that Deshaun Watson trade I keep hearing about. I keep hearing about this Deshaun Watson trade. You bring Watson there, he takes up $30 million in cap space right away. And I don't know, man. That's a tricky one for me. I mean, that is not a destination for me. I would not, if I was a player and you said you could sign with the Jets, they have a lot of extra cap space, I would say, pass. I'd rather go to Cleveland. Who's next on the list?
Okay, so number 3, and this is surprising because this is a team that likes to spend a lot of money paying their players. It's the Dallas Cowboys at $25.4 million rollover. Wow. But I guess the biggest concern for that rollover is they have to re-sign long-term Dak Prescott. Yeah. Because Andy Dalton is a decent option at quarterback, but he is no Dak Prescott talent-wise and skill-wise. Prescott is on the upswing, while Dalton may have had his best years at the back of him. So the priority for the Dallas Cowboys is to re-sign Dak Prescott, and much of this rollover will go to that money because they don't have a buffer of a rookie year, unlike a Mahomes, unlike a Jared Goff, wherein they were able to extend contracts with 1 year or 2 years left in their rookie deals. Unfortunately for Jerry Jones, he will feel the full brunt of this salary extension for Prescott, and this rollover, most of it, that is, would go just into that extension of Prescott's contract.
You know, I haven't followed how Dak Prescott is rehabbing or healing. I'm sure there's Instagram videos of him doing something at some point, but that was such a horrific injury that I don't know if he's ever going to be the same again. He was never that running quarterback that was like, going to escape the pocket and, like a Lamar Jackson or something. But, Dak could move a little bit. I got to wonder if it's going to hurt his mobility. I got to wonder if it's going to hurt his confidence in the pocket. Quarterbacks have people falling at their legs all the time. That's a tough one for me. I don't know if I would spend the money on a guy like Dak Prescott coming back. But I don't know what your options are at this point either. It's not like Dallas has huge options. They do draft kind of low in the draft. They may have a shot at one of these rookie quarterbacks. I would not be surprised to see Dallas say, you know what, we're not going to go with Dak. We're going to wait to see who falls to us as a quarterback in the first round, and we're going to build around a rookie contract. I would not be surprised to see that happen. And if they do, they're going to have a huge amount of cap space in order to build a winning team around that rookie quarterback. Give me one more. Who's got more a little more space?
Okay, so the 4th team with the highest salary cap rollover coming into the 2021 season, and another team that needs a lot of players to plug a lot of holes in their roster. The Jacksonville Jaguars won their first game and then lost the 15. And that means that they need a lot in their roster. Quarterback, wide receivers, O-line, D-line, running back, everywhere. Yeah. They need an overhaul for this roster, and that $23.4 million will come in handy for Urban Meyer to have essentially a new team in Jacksonville, Florida.
You got huge salary cap space. You got a creative coach. You're going to have the number 1 draft pick as a quarterback. You got no state tax. Jacksonville has an opportunity to really build a winner there. The only thing that's against Jacksonville at this point, in my opinion, is that culture's been so bad for so long. Nobody wants to stay there. They've had superstars come in the door, hang out for a while, and never stick around. So I would like to see. I like Jacksonville. Like our home office is actually in Jacksonville. So I would love to see Jacksonville build up a winner. So when I'm visiting the home office, I can go and hang out in that stadium and get the seats up by the pool. So that would be kind of cool.